Welcome back to BSpice. In this session, we'll focus on hookup and installation engineering nodes. So we'll be covering this engineering nodes for hookup and installation for all type of instruments in two parts. So in part A, in this session, we'll focus on installation of flow measuring instruments guidelines. Okay, what are all the guidelines we need to adopt for installation of flow measuring instrument. Then we will also focus on the types of field instruments in a plant like inline, online, offline, all these. Additionally, we will also see general installation requirements and industrial practice for field instruments. Okay. And in addition to that, we also see the accessibility details while carrying out the installation. So this is about the part A. Part B will focus more on the typical type of the instrumentation hookup, all these, and also flow instrument, level instrument, pressure, temperature, control valve, analyzer, all these are typical we will see. That's about part B. Okay, so let's get started with part A. See, the purpose of this presentation is to familiarize with the hookup, the type of field instrument installation, and its associated design and installation criteria of different types of flow, level, pressure, temperature, analyzer, control valve, all these. So that is the purpose. Okay, let's get on with the details. General aspects we will cover, friends. Installation of flow measuring instruments. Okay, so we will be covering the general aspects. Okay. So first, we need to confirm the direction of flow in accordance with the P&IDs prior to the installation of flow measuring instruments. Very, very important, friends. Okay. We need to refer the P&ID and confirm the direction of flow. That is one aspect we should focus. Second, manufacturers' guidelines regarding installation, commissioning, maintenance requirements shall be followed. See, most importantly, when we talk about flow, we should focus on this, upstream, downstream, and the provision of support. All these we should adopt in line with manufacturer guideline. Then, for liquid measuring meters in horizontal line, the tapping should be installed downwards. Again, I repeat, friends, for the liquid measuring meters in horizontal line, the tapping should be installed downwards, and in gas flow measuring meters in horizontal line, the tapping should be pointing upwards, installed upwards. I hope you know this, but just want to reiterate this. Instrument installation and impulse installation shall be, of course, as per the hookup drawing. Okay. So glanding termination of the power signal earth cable shall be as per the approved for construction drawing. See, there are various versions of the control drawing, right, for review, for approval. So all these glanding termination of power, earth signal, everything should be AFC, approved for construction drawing, as well as in line with electrical and pneumatic hookups. Okay, so these are the general criteria we should focus while installation during the installation of flow measuring instruments. Now we'll see the type of field instruments in plant. See, there are three type, friends: inline, offline, and what? Inline, online, and offline. Okay. So what is inline? Inline instruments are all instruments and components which are mounted in or on process and utility lines or equipment, and which are subjected to temperature and pressure of the piping system or equipment in or on which they are installed. So basically it is installed inside. That is the inline instruments, friends. Online instrument. Online instruments are all instruments and components connected to the process and utility lines or equipment via, maximum like, DN50 block and bleed valve or monoflange assemblies. They are subjected to pressure of the piping system or equipment on which they are installed. So this is inline, inserting inside. This is online actually, okay, connected to process via, block and bleed valves, right? Okay. Then we have offline instruments. Offline instruments are all instruments and components which are not in direct contact with any of the medium, or which are not connected to any process utility line or equipment. This is just for understanding. Of course, experienced guys knows this is focused more on the, freshers. Now we'll go into the important aspect of this session. General installation requirements and industrial practice. Friends, we should position as near as possible, possibly within 1 meter from instrument process connection tapping or mounted directly on the instrument process connection. So we should try to position as near as possible the instruments. Okay. Then be easily readable indicator to field operator as well as instrument shall be installed and oriented in such a way that the center of the indicator is approximately 1.3 to 1.5 meters above grade, platform or walk level. See, basically, friends, the transmitters or whatever we buy, we should have a local display, friends. That is the point. And it should be around 1.5 meters height, approximately, okay, above the grade, platform or walkway. Just remember that. Not subject to mechanical stress and are not exposed to temperature, which will influence the measurement. So we should not, subject to the mechanical stress. Whatever we are installing, that should not subject to mechanical stress and also not exposed to temperature, which influence the measurement. Meaning, cannot be more than the design temperature. So that is why, when we do the, data sheet preparation, we take all these aspects, isn't it? And it should be easily mounted and removed. Of course, we know that. And to add on further, you know, it should be surrounded by sufficient free space to allow rotting out, meaning drain or vent of the process connections. So we should ensure that, and of course, safely accessible. Inline instrument shall comply with the requirements of the piping class or the equipment in or on which the instruments are installed. This is what I have been telling every video. We need to comply to the piping class. Whenever possible, instrument shall be mounted at eye level, but normally not lower than 750 mm from the base. As I mentioned in the earlier slide, approximately 1.5, but the criteria is not lower than 750. Okay, in some cases if it is not possible, I am telling. So wherever possible should be mounted at eye level. So that means 1.3 to 1.5 meters. That is a point. Instrument shall be response checked and calibrated in case required before installation. Normally, friends, it was calibrated during our FAT, manufacturing, and also we check during the FAT also. But when we install the instrument, we should ensure it is responding properly. Okay. If it is not responding, we need to calibrate that. That is my point here. Okay. Right. Mounting location shall be as per P&ID and location drawing. You got it? Yes. So mounting of instrument shall not obstruct passage or walkways. Okay. Instrument shall be installed rigidly with mounting brackets on the support, including the manifold. Inline instrument shall be installed by preferably the piping erection group or specific instrument installation crew and supervised by the instrument supervisor. Okay. So this is inline instruments. It comes in the pipe, right? Yeah, that's what. Okay. So piping, we should take the help of the piping group. Valve installation are subject to seat tightness. Test shall be carried out after removal for flushing and prior to the final installation. Okay. So valves installation are subject to the seat tightness, and test shall be carried out after removal for flushing and prior to the final installation. During valve installation, particular attention shall be paid to the direction of flow of the valve to ensure the correct orientation. Very, very important. Orifice plates shall have their leading edge on the upstream side. That is also we should focus, friends. These are some of the general installation requirements and industrial practice. Now we'll focus on the accessibility. Friends, accessibility is very, very important. Accessibility identifies the effort required for a human being to read, to reach the devices for the purpose of operational attention or regular maintenance, isn't it? So it includes the ability to reach a device with all tools required to perform such operational attention or maintenance. There are four levels we can define. One is permanent accessibility. A device is considered permanently accessible if it is located not more than 0.5 meter horizontally away from and not more than 1.7 meter vertically above grade, platform or walkway. If no instructions are in place and if such locations can be safely reached from those levels during the plant operation. So this is a little bit confusing. I mean, not confusing, bit lengthy. See, permanent accessibility means we should adhere to this, friends. Okay. So the device is considered permanently accessible if it is located not more than 0.5 meter horizontally away from. Okay. And not more than 1.7 meter vertically above the grade or platform. That is the point. So this is permanent accessibility. Of course, we need to focus on that aspect actually. During the installation, we should always focus the permanent accessibility. Then there is some cases may be a challenging actually. This is called limited accessibility. A device has a limited accessibility if it is located not more than 1 meter horizontally away and at a height between 1.7 and 3 to 4 meter above grade, platform or walkway, which can be accessible through movable portable safety ladders. This is in some cases. So in this case, we need to, look for this HSE guidelines of the respective organization. Okay. Then poor accessibility. This is totally ruled out. A device has a poor accessibility if it is located more than the limited accessibility here and height above grade, platform or walkway or any other location that can only be reached during a plant operation by installing temporary facility. This is very, very difficult. And some cases, in the pipe rack also, we have a, transmitter that is going to be very challenging. So in that case, what we can do, we can bring in the the display in the bottom actually. Okay. So that is also another possibilities. Okay. So we have covered three now. Now I'll go to the four. Inaccessibility. So a device is considered inaccessible if it cannot be safely reached during the plant operation for the purpose of operational attention and maintenance. So this is totally not accessible, and it is not acceptable also. Okay. So as much as possible, we should adhere to this, friends, a permanent accessibility, and some cases in this actually. Okay. Limited accessibility. Poor and inaccessibility are not at all, acceptable. So that's all, friends, I have for this session, but stay tuned. We will be coming back in the part B, wherein we'll cover the very important type of typical, installation of all type of instruments. Of course, we have covered everything, but I'm going to cover with a lot of engineering notes. That's a difference, friends. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.